live, maybe.
As we are live.
Let me check our YouTube channel.
Awesome.
And my LinkedIn. Yeah, it says we're live on YouTube. Okay. And then my LinkedIn. Oops, there we are. There's the echo. LinkedIn. Let me go to my profile. Looks like I'm live on LinkedIn. And then the last place, let me check, would be mine. Where else are we? We're on Facebook. Dude, we're in so many different places now. It's I lose track.
Gotta be where everybody's at.
No. All right, let me just check Facebook real quick. For those of
you got this recording?
It will be recorded, yes. But let me see here. Facebook. Bear with us here, guys. If you are already tuned in, Alex and I will be getting started in about 3 minutes. We told people we'll start at 7 p.m. Eastern, so we'll give everyone a couple minutes to sign on. Let's see. Are we live anywhere else? Okay. All right. And then the last one I'm going to do Instagram. and I have to do that manually. So let me go live on Instagram because I know a lot of people on there. Title, Black Friday, sale, plus money back guarantee. Okay. All right. All right, man. You ready to rock on this?
Man, I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Just let me know.
All right, cool. Where can I see everyone's messages though? Hold on. Okay. I think I might just have to, I'll be monitoring all the questions in the different, I have like all these windows open right now.
Sure.
If people have one window open for each platform. So we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, we are on Facebook, and let me go live on Instagram here. Cool, and we are now live on Instagram. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone, for those of you who are on already. Actually, we still have 1 more minute. Let's wait 1 more minute.
Yep, very much so.
Let's give everyone some time to sign on.
Very cool.
Yeah. Man, I gotta say,
so
yeah.
Here's some fun little information. So my kid's the poster child on his school's website. I went to it, and I'm like, whoa, there's my son.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. He's all masked up though, but it's nice, And I called him and he's in the car with his mom and I'm like, hey, have you got on the website? He's like, no, why? So I showed him on my phone. I said, who's that guy? And he goes, is that me on the site? I said, yeah, dude, you're representing. Listen, let's get some royalty rights.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say it's because he's handsome like you, but you say he's masked up, so I guess
he's masked. Yeah. No, he's got his mom's looks. He's got my brains and creativity, so it's a really good.
That's good.
Good match.
Good.
Okay, so I'm seeing that we are on Zoom something. Someone just showed me something. We're on something.
Yeah. So let's get started. It is 1 minute after. So welcome everyone. Sam Shaw here, founder of Wall Street Mastermind. We have a special edition of the AMA for you guys today. For the first time ever, we have Alex, who's our director of enrollment, on with me. Say hi, Alex.
Hello, everybody. World out there. Excited for this this little tidbit of information. I got a lot to share. So Thanks, Sam, for having me on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, really the reason why I want to do this today is we got two big exciting announcements. We got obviously our Black Friday sale, which was a huge success last year. And so, we're bringing it back by popular demand. And that's the first thing that we want to talk about today. And then the second thing that we want to talk about is something else that, we just kind of started doing as of last week. Just arguably, in my opinion, even more exciting than the Black Friday sale, which is this idea of a money back guarantee that we're now offering on our program, which nobody else out there that I've seen anyway is doing anything like that, right? And so those are the two things that we're going to be talking about today. And then obviously, Alex here has spoken to I don't know how many students over the last year or so that he's been with our company, and he takes a lot of these calls now that I used to take, but now I'm so busy as we've grown and we have so many students in the program. I'm too busy coaching our actual students. And so Alex has taken over kind of that first initial call. He knows our program inside out, and he knows like who's going to be a good fit for our program and who's not. And so I definitely want to also like just kind of pick his brain and get some of his thoughts on, what type of candidates or students tend to have the most success with our program, right? And so we're going to talk about that a little bit. And then we'll probably just talk about, I don't know, whatever else we feel like talking about. We'll see how it goes. Alex and I can talk all day, really, if you let us, but we'll try to keep this thing to an hour or less. So if you guys have questions along the way, don't be shy. Drop them in the comments, whether it's the LinkedIn or the YouTube channel or our Facebook, whichever platform you're watching this on. Drop your questions in the comment section, and then as we're talking about stuff, we'll just go through and try to answer as many questions as we can. Okay, so with that said, Alex, I don't know if I missed anything else, but should we get this thing started?
Yeah. So let me just do a quick little intro of me, just to kind of be really clear to everybody what I do, what my job is. And I'm the director of enrollment, so I've got some pretty awesome responsibilities. So I'm the front line, and it's been awesome this year to just really be the front line and to have an effect on that really high success rate that we have. Because in truth, you don't succeed. You don't get a high success rate because you just let everybody on the planet in. And that's where I come in. So just some really key things of what I do. So my job is I discover students' goals and challenges. I understand what prevents one from not overcoming their challenges. Big part of my job is to properly explain how WSMM's process works. And how it's helped many students, undergrad and grad, land top offers. And then I also help overcome challenges in enrolling, right? It's not so cut and dry. A lot of students, a lot of kids really want in how to enroll. So I help them enroll. So that's the gist of my job. Floor is yours.
Cool. Sorry, I just I had a little bit of a sound mix up there, but yeah. So that was a great intro. So with that said, let's dive into some of these announcements, right? Just without further ado, first things first, Black Friday sale. So context here is we did our first ever Black Friday sale last year, and it was a huge success. A lot of people were really happy about it. A lot of people ended up joining our program during the Black Friday sale, got a great deal on it. Like they've been considering working with us for a long time, but I mean, who doesn't love a sale, right? And so we decided to bring it back this year. And so this is how it's going to work, right? So first things first, we have a lot of different offers, right? Like the way we work with our students is not one size fits all, obviously, because we don't believe in that. One size fits all doesn't really work. And so we work one-on-one with every single individual that comes into the program, and everything is customized, right? But in terms of like, the discounts that we're offering for Black Friday, like it's going to be anywhere from 10 to 20% of what you would normally be paying if you were to work with us, right? And so that's honestly like a pretty sweet deal. But of course, like any Black Friday sale you see out there, there's our limited quantities. Like we can't give these out to just everybody, right? And so especially also on top of that, now we're doing this money back guarantee, which that's like a lot of work for us, honestly, to offer that, right? Like from like the fulfillment side, the coaching side, making sure the quality of the program is really where it needs to be. And so we're going to limit how many people we actually give this to. So the Black Friday sale is going to happen for the next 2 weeks. All right. So started already this week. It's going to continue into next week. We are going to give 5 spots each week for this Black Friday at the Black Friday pricing, regardless of like whatever packages ends up being for you. And I think we've already given away 1 today, 1 or 2, I'm not sure. I think it's 1, right? And so there's 5 this week, 5 next week. For this week, 1 of them has already been given away. So what I would say is, if you've been interested in working with us and you want to take advantage of this Black Friday sale and just get in at the best price that you're ever going to be able to get it for, because we don't do sales like at any other point in the year. Like it's only around Black Friday, right? And so if you're that person, then I would say, book a call with us as quickly as possible. I've dropped kind of a booking link in the comment section of the YouTube and the LinkedIn and the Facebook. But like if you're watching on Instagram, it's just www.wallstreetmastermind.com/apply. Okay. Streets abbreviated to ST. So wallstmastermind.com/apply. And so if you go there, you could book a call with us. You'll either end up talking to one of our successful alumni first, who's already, worked with us and gotten into banking, and they can answer whatever questions you have and tell you more about our program. Or you might end up on a call with someone like Alex, where again, they know the program inside out. They can answer your questions. And also, we want to see if you're a good fit for the program, because if you're not a good fit for the program, we're not going to let you into the program, because we don't want to like have to, give you a refund afterwards when you don't get the job, right? Like we're going to be very, very honest with you about whether we can actually get you the job if you work with us. All right. So that's like at a high level how the Black Friday sale works. And like, look, if you talk to us and we don't think it's the right time for you to work with us, like, 1, not only will be very honest about it, but 2, we'll just give you advice on what we think you should do instead, right? Because there's probably other things that you can do too that could still help you, get closer to your goals, aside from working with us. And having worked with hundreds of students now, we've seen probably everything there is to see out there. Like we can at least give you some advice for you to go out and implement on your own, right? So either way, you'll walk away with some valuable information at a minimum. And in the best case scenario, we are a great fit. You think we're a great fit for you, and we think you're a great fit for us. And you work with us, and essentially, we have an over 90% success rate. I think it's 92% so far over the last 3 classes combined, and give you a money back guarantee, which means if you work with us and you don't get the results, you just get your money back. So you didn't pay anything, right? You're just getting some free coaching and free professional development, if you want to think about it that way. So that's the Black Friday sale. Alex, I don't know if I missed anything or if you have anything to add to that. So we have limited spots, 5 per week. Was there anything else you need to talk about there?
I do, man, but I actually kind of want to circle back to that in regards to the limited side, because, being in the front lines and having these VCC calls, these virtual coffee chat calls, I just had a kid graduating in 2025 from a nice school, and he took the Black Friday offer, and I'm going to hear back from another kid and his parents about also hopping on with that discount. So I kind of want to circle back to that. I have an idea of what I think might work if I can, but I don't want to talk about that right now. I kind of want to jump into some of the reasons why I really wanted to get on this call. Okay. And just sort of have an understanding of kind of what we deal with on the front lines. You know, I know that you on your end, you're coaching, and that's why people that's what they're paying for. And so it's exciting because I'm not one of the coaches, but I get to see everything that happens. I see every conversation, every mock interview, you name it, which has really helped me this year to really kind of understand what are some qualities, if not the top qualities, of some of these kids, some of these undergrads and grads that I've enrolled, right? Yeah. Because there's one thing about people talking their game, right? Like on an interview or on a call. And the other thing is actually seeing their work ethic, right? Seeing how they hit the ground running. Like once they're enrolled, once they have full access, once they have their private Slack channel, you know, do they reach out quickly? Are they on point? Do they ask 50 questions a day? Are they radio silent? So that's kind of some of the things that I wanted to talk about. And if anybody has any questions on kind of what that is, I'd be more than happy to answer that. With that said, I know that we talked earlier. Is there any questions that you have for me real quick, Sam, to kind of get this started?
I mean, I think that's a good segue, right? Which is probably what would be most helpful for the students that are kind of watching this right now to know from your perspective as the director of enrollment and having spoken to as many students as you've spoken to in the last year is like, what do you see as the commonality between the most successful students that you've enrolled into our program? Like if we were to say the top 3 traits or qualities that you see in these students, like what would you say they are? Like what kind of candidate would be a good fit for our program and are the ones that we're really, really excited to offer this money back guarantee to, because we just know that, hey, if this person comes in and they possess these qualities, then they're absolutely going to knock it out of the park. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I do. And I think it's like with anything in life, it's like what you do somewhere is kind of what you do everywhere. And so for me, since I'm taking on, virtual coffee chats, right? Strategy sessions. As I said, I'm here to discover students' goals and challenges and what they've struggled with, how they haven't been able to fix a problem, or what anticipating a problem for kids that just graduated high school coming into college, right? So I got to say, to really, really cut to the chase, because I want to be really precise about this, is I've noticed that there's a lot of qualities, but there's 3 main qualities. And the first one is that whether they go to a top school, Ivy League, or whether they go to a no-name school in California or India or Quebec, whatever, there's a universal thing. And that number one thing that I've seen all of the kids that I've enrolled and reach successful, offers, top offers. We're talking like Goldman Sachs, TMT. We're talking about the big companies, is determination. And to be really clear about what that determination is, are students that will break through a brick wall. And I mean that, not like just, oh, I'm determined, so I put a scale of 1 to 10, I put a 10, but just hearing them, seeing them. There is this, they'll say it, they'll believe it, they have this conviction, 100% conviction, and I see it almost immediately. And then the second one is really important. It is they all professionally present themselves on those calls, right? Like even just, I got to be honest, even the framing of the camera, like they're not like off, like their head is not down here and it's not all weird. And they've presented themselves quite professionally, from dress to the way they communicate, to the way they hold themselves, to how they communicate directly to me. They're looking at me, they're listening to me. And so to me, and I'll tell them that, I said, like how I see you present yourself on this call leads me to believe that's how you present yourself in talking about investment banking, right? I don't know what they do with their friends or whatnot, but in a professional setting, right? It leads me to believe that these individuals are communicating that way on their virtual, on their coffee chats, in their interviews, in anybody IB related, right? It's a sign. So, and the third thing is, it really comes down to, for me, is they don't make me work hard, right? Like, honestly, they don't make me work hard. They're not making me feel like, I'm in some basement and I have to prove the company or prove who I am or prove that I'm on the planet Earth. I'm being a little silly, but in all honesty, that's huge because they're utilizing that 45 minutes or that 30 minutes of time to really understand what's going on. And I think that might be, Sam, because they've done due diligence, right? Both the good, the bad, and the ugly. I know there's a lot of stuff out there, but if you really look at it like anything, you're going to see in between the lines, right? Like any company, like I'm a Apple freak, right? I own almost every Apple product. When I go to the website, I see all the bitching and the complaining, but I can read between the lines and so forth. And I have issues at times with Apple. Nevertheless, I understand products and services. So when I say that they don't make my job hard, they don't make me work harder, it means that they're selling themselves. And because this common thing that I'm mentioning, for the most part, whether it's a little or a lot of due diligence, they understand our program enough to be able to make a call. Like, who wants to waste time? Who's got randomly 30, 45 minutes to just hop on a Zoom call, right? With a guy that could be in a basement, right? So they've put in the time. And when I hear that, because I asked them, I said, so what got us here? How'd you hear about us? How'd you know about WSMM? And they'll tell me legitimately how they got there. And what they do is they're not necessarily just selling themselves to me, but they're also wanting to sell themselves to see if there's a connection with a successful program, to see if they can benefit from it, to see if what they can do with it, how they can get that edge. And what I mean by that, Sam, is that I've talked to you name it, Harvard, Wharton, Columbia, NYU, the list goes on, your school, Berkeley, and then all the way down to Santa Clara, no-name schools. And what I've seen is that the smart kids all want an edge. Not everybody can afford these high-end Ivy League schools. So, but those that can't afford that, I enroll those kids, a lot of those kids, because they're coming from an edge mentality, right? They want to beat the competition. Who doesn't want as many edges as possible, right? And the non-target schools that don't have that edge, don't have recruiters coming on, same thing. They know life is about an edge, right? So they come from a place where they don't make me work hard. Like, they're there to deliver, right? They respect their time, which means they're respecting my time, and they handle themselves professionally. Those are the three biggest things.
Yeah, I think if I were to that was a really great rundown, I would say. I think if I were to just summarize that really briefly and concisely, it's like people that are truly committed to breaking into investment banking, like they're very determined this is very, very important to them. And not just like people who pay lip service and say it's important, but then aren't willing to do what it takes, but like people that are, like you said, willing to run through brick walls to make this happen. Like, this is their dream job, right? Secondly is like, I think if I were to really sum up your second point, it's just like, how you do something is how you do everything, right? And so like the way you present yourself, are you professional, or are you like very wishy-washy? Are you very flaky? Like, or, the way you communicate with our team is probably how you communicate when you're networking with other bankers too, right? And obviously, like, we try to coach you on that and make it even better, but like, do you at least are you at least like the type that's even worth coaching? Are you coachable, right? And then the last thing is, what was your last one? The people
not making my job hard.
Right. Well, the people who have actually like done their homework, right? Researched us, online, look through the website, listen to the testimonials, understand the difference between our program and everything else that's out there because it's very unique. Have read both like the pros and cons of the program and like really understand what they're getting themselves into, and people who are able to not just like do research, but like think critically for themselves. Like nowadays in this day and age, like anybody can pretty much say anything they want, on the internet, right? And you have to be able to kind of discern like what's true from what's not true, and then think for yourself on like, well, what do I believe, right, based on the evidence that's before me. And honestly, like if you can't think critically, then um you're just gonna have a really hard time in this day and age, to be honest, because then like everyone's saying different things, you don't know what to believe. And so that ability to conduct due diligence, which not coincidentally is also a very important skill as an investment banker. What are you doing as a banker? A lot of times you're conducting due diligence on companies, right? And so like the ability to do that, I think, is really, really important. And then like obviously once you've done your homework, I'm not saying like then that alone is enough for you to make a decision. Obviously, then you should talk to us. You should talk to the company if you're actually interested, and then ask us more questions, whatever questions you still have, and hear the answers directly from the source. And then you can determine, hey, like, what do I think based on all the information that's available to me, right? And so I think those are all really good points. I think like the other point that you brought up too is like this concept of like target school students versus non-target school students. And obviously like it's about getting an edge, right? Like we're talking about breaking into something like investment banking, which is uber competitive. Like the top investment banks out there accept anywhere from 1 to 3% of the applicant pool every year, right? Like if we look at Goldman Sachs, 1.8% 2 years ago. If we look at JP Morgan, it was like 0.8% just last year. And then like, or sorry, just this year, like for summer 2021. And then Jeffries, which is more of a middle market bank, like slightly easier to break into than like the bulge bracket banks. But even then, they only accepted around 3% of their applicant pool for the summer 2020 class. And so when you're talking about something that's that competitive, like every competitive advantage you can get for yourself can move the needle, right? Like every little edge matters. And then, I feel like the target school students understand that because that's why they pay so much money to go to a target school, is to get that type of edge. And then now that they're there, it's probably the most competitive environment they've ever been in because there's a bunch of other super smart kids. And it's like way smarter people than they probably knew in high school, at least on average. And so it's like, now that I'm here, what other advantage can I continue to get, right? And then like if you go to a non-target school, it's just like, okay, you don't have that competitive advantage of going to like a Harvard or Yale, Princeton or Stanford or Berkeley or whatever, but how do you level that playing field against those students that are from those other schools, right? And so like, I think that's really like why our program even exists. Like if people might say like, oh, okay, well, I know why they're offering the money back guarantee. Is probably because like they only work with the students that are already gonna definitely get offers already, right? Like that's the only logical explanation. But like it's actually not. Like we went back and looked at the statistics of all the students that we've helped who have successfully broken into investment banking. And I think like what we found, it didn't really surprise us, but I think it would be surprising for a lot of people. Out of all the offers that we've been able to get for our clients, like only 45%, which is less than half of those students, have come from target schools, right? Now, naturally, there are more students from target schools applying for these jobs. And so, but like still less than half of our offers are for students from target schools. The other 20% come from semi-target schools. And then there's actually a whole 35 to 36% who actually come from non-target schools, which is like, that's an insane number. It's like 1 out of 3, a little more than 1 out of 3 students that we help break in come from non-target schools. So like nobody told them that, they were guaranteed a lock to break into something that typically only accepts 1 to 3% of the candidate pool because they don't go to the right schools, right? So that's the first thing. And then like the other thing is like, you got to know with how competitive investment banking recruiting is, typically you need very, very good grades, right? Like I was actually just having a conversation with a parent about this. And then she had like a misconception about like how the bell curve works at most schools. And she was saying like, 3.4 is a really good GPA for investment banking because at my son's school, like, I was told that out of like an entire class, like only 1 or 2 students will get A's because of the bell curve. And I was like, no, that's definitely not correct. I went to and her son goes to NYU Stern, which is like a ton of students from NYU Stern want to break into investment banking. It's like one of the most financy schools out there, right? I went to the NYU Stern website, actually looked up their grading policy, and literally for the finance department, they said that they expect 35% of the students in their finance classes to get at least an A minus or an A. So 1 in 3 students in their finance courses are getting at least a 3.7 on their finance classes. And so that means that if you don't have at least a 3.7 or 3.8 or above, and you're applying for investment banking, that's not a competitive GPA, right? You compare the 35% of the bell curve to like the 1 to 3% acceptance rate in these candidate pools, is like, that means that the vast majority of the students who are breaking into banking typically have anywhere from, 3.7 or above,
Yep.
right? When we looked at, again, our successful students who have gotten offers, actually like 41% of them, it was 41% of them. I want to make sure I'm citing the right numbers. 41% of them have lower than a 3.7. So that's like a significant percentage, right? 62% of them have lower than a 3.8, right? Now, if you want to go even lower, like 21% of them have lower than 3.5. So 1 in 5 people have less than a 3.5. And then like we even have like 7% of people with less than a 3.3. So my point is, we've helped students break into banking with GPAs as low as 2.86. That was like the lowest ever, right? And this girl got into Goldman TMT. Alex, you know who I'm talking about. But I'm not saying that you should, aim to just only have a 3.0 GPA and you'll still be able to get into Goldman Sachs. Like, I don't want to mislead anyone. Like, that was a huge exception. And like, I would not have bet money on that, right? But like, that's the point, is that's what we've been able to do here inside of this program. Like, we've been able to help all sorts of students overcome the type of challenges that they typically would not be able to overcome on their own. And quite frankly, if they could overcome on their own, like they just wouldn't work with us in the first place. Like, why pay us to help them with something they could already do, right? But like, our goal here is to take whatever, like, I don't care if you're a rock star candidate or if you are just a mediocre candidate or a below average candidate. Like, we want to take what you would have been able to accomplish on your own and then give you an additional boost, right? We're adding incremental values. Like, whatever outcome you would have gotten, we want to get you an even better outcome. For a lot of people, that means like you would not have gotten into investment banking on your own. And by working with us, now you're able to get in, right? But on the high end, like maybe you're the type of candidate that could have gotten into investment banking on your own. But now you're not just getting into investment banking, you're getting into the best banks and the best groups. You're getting into the Goldman TMTs of the world, the Morgan Stanley Tech, the Morgan Stanley M&A, or Evercore, Centerviews. Like, it just depends on like how high you're aiming, right? That's why, yes, we do have students that come and work with us who are already total rock stars on paper, and we love working with those people. But then like the bar is different. Like, we're not just trying to get them in anymore at that point. We're trying to get them like the top, not even the top 1% jobs, but the top 0.1%.
Just to jump in there real quick, I'm just thinking on the top of my head, two clients of ours that two examples of many more that had certain bank offers. One was Deutsche, and then pushed a semester and landed Goldman Sachs TMT. Another one had Centerview, pushed it and got and secured Evercore. To be able to have that ability to challenge big banks for bigger banks, right? Yeah. That mindset. That's absolutely, to be able to have that is a luxury. But I want to circle back to something that you mentioned when you brought up the parents, because I'm on calls, as you know, I'm on calls with parents all day long. Parents in the finance industry, parents that are investment bankers, parents that are just house moms, God bless them. Parents that have no finance background, that are in the medical, attorneys, whatever the case is. And it works. It's an overall successful way of thinking, because not all parents are aware of like what you just mentioned about the GPA situation. They heard something and then they think that, but do they really know? Well, reach out to us. We'll tell you, we'll talk to you, we'll tell you our experience in regards to whatever the topic is. Again, it's like, it's like a doctor. Don't just take our word for it. Go ask 2 other doctors, but be in the know, do your due diligence. And that's important with parents, because that circles back to the calls I have. Determination, right? I'm on calls with undergrad and grads that they need financial support from their parents. It is what it is, man. And nothing's wrong with that. In fact, it's awesome that parents are supporting their kids. I mean, that's a great, God bless that. But their responsibility is to do their due diligence, that if they're going to communicate with their parents as if they were going to communicate with a recruiter, they need to know their stuff. They need to know their information, right? And like, I enrolled 2 kids recently, spoke to their parents, and they go to top schools. And another thing I want to say, because I want to just put this out there, man, Sam, since I have this minute here. I've read a lot of stuff, and I know that a lot of people knock certain things, thinking like, oh, there's all these rich parents with all this money that are just stupid and dumb and get suckered into buying, elite programs. And so, first of all, very wealthy parents are not stupid, right? They're just not dumb. As well as blue collar or low income parents, they're not dumb, right? I grew up low income parents, blue collar. They really provided they were not dumb parents. I will say, in my experience, for the most part, if a student has the determination to get their parents on a call with me, we're going to talk real, right? No BS. And all of the parents that have enrolled, helped front the money, whatever you want to call it, enroll their kid, are doing it for the right reasons. Parents are not easily influenced. I'm a parent. I have a 12-year-old. I'm not easily influenced, right? So I wanted to mention that, because that's all going to fall on the student's responsibility of, what do they really know? And if they don't know something, ask us or go find out. Because here's the thing, Sam, that window of, I call it opportunity because I get to see everything. So I'm sorry, WSMM is an opportunity, but that window of opportunity is very narrow. The time that you're on calls with us, the time that you make decisions with us is, and here's another thing that's kind of common with our enrollments and our successful clients, is it's a pretty quick turnaround. It's a pretty quick decision-making process. They know they want to be investment bankers because of determination, and they're going to break through the brick wall. So it's a very short period of time that those students know they want to do something like with us, right? And that's utterly important. So this is not something that's long drawn out. I'm not on these long 2 weeks of talking back and forth. No, these kids know what they want. The competition knows what they want, and they go for it and they get it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like, look, the bottom line of what you just said is, we love having the parents involved, right?
Absolutely.
Like, this is working with Wall Street Mastermind, like, it's a big decision. It's like choosing what college you go to, right? It's like, and people are like, what the hell are you talking about? It's like, when you picked what school you went to, you probably involved your parents in that discussion, right? I mean, part of it is because they have to help you pay for it, but also because it is a huge major life decision that could have a big impact on what future career opportunities you have. Like, if you like, should I pay a little bit more to go to Harvard than maybe save a little bit of money and go to, well, not even a little bit of money, save a lot of money and go to a community college first, right? But like, the thing is, like, a lot of people will say, no, you should pay the $70,000 or $80,000 a year to go to Harvard because it's going to be worth it down the road, right? And different people have different thoughts on that. But like, you involve your parents in that discussion because your parents are the ones who have been caring for you your whole life. They're looking out for your best interests. They know like there's no one aside from yourself, there's no one else who in this world who wants to see you be successful more than your parents, most likely, right? And so it's just good to have them involved in these discussions. Like we really view the Wall Street Mastermind program as like kind of an extension to your college education. It's like, if I were being completely honest, a lot of the stuff that we're teaching you inside of this program, they should be teaching you this stuff in school. But for whatever reason, you know, our education system right now is not set up in a way where they teach you a lot of theory and whatever in the classroom. And unfortunately, that's not the stuff that's going to help you actually get these jobs, right? Like we're teaching you like just the practical, we're giving you the practical stuff that's actually going to help you get jobs. Like what do you do with your application materials? How do you actually build your resume? Helping you to go out and actually find the relevant experiences that you need, right? Getting your foot in the door. How do you actually network with these bankers? How do you actually talk to them in a way such that you can, first of all, get a complete stranger to talk to you, and second of all, like in just a short 20 to 30 minute time span, convert them from a complete stranger to someone who's now willing to, you know, go out of their way to help you and mentor you and, you know, stick their neck out for you and vouch for you and get you that interview, right? Without getting anything in return aside from your gratitude, right? Like, how do you do stuff like that? Like, they just don't teach you that in school, right? And then, like, how do you actually answer these interview questions that they're going to be asking you, right? What should you expect? What should you expect from the interviewers in terms of types of questions, as well as like, what do they actually want to hear, right? And then how do we marry what do they want to hear with your personal stories and your background and your experiences? Because we're not going to go in an interview and lie and be, you know, like you got to be genuine, right? Everything you say has to be true, but like you have to present it in a way that's attractive to the employer, right? And so like all of these things, unfortunately, people, like what we've learned over time is people are not getting this from their school a lot of times. And so for a very, very small fraction of what you've already paid in your tuition, which oftentimes, depending on the school, can be upwards of $250,000 over 4 years, this is just like another elective that you're opting into. And,
right, but what I want to say on that note is that what you're saying.
Let me finish my one last thought. And the crazy thing to me is you can pay upwards of $250,000 for school, and they will not guarantee your results. Like Harvard will not guarantee that, hey, if you pay us $250,000, you can graduate with a minimum salary of X, right? Because the average college grad in the United States today, I'm not saying the average Harvard grad, but just the average overall, the average college grad in the United States today makes $50,000 a year right out of school, right? We're talking about guaranteeing you a job in one of the most selective industries that's going to pay you anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000 just in your first year, right? That's including your base salary and your bonus. And we're saying, if we don't get you that result, we'll give you your money back. Like we're putting our money where our mouth is. Like this is just like a small incremental investment on top of what you've already invested in your tuition, except the ROI is much greater and there is no downside because you're fully protected, right? Like that's why I say like this is an insane deal, and no one else that, as far as I'm aware of, none of our competitors, none of the other service providers that do anything even remotely close to what we're doing are willing or able to offer this type of guarantee, because unless your service is really that good and you are confident that you're not going to be giving out many refunds, you're just not going to make this type of deal, especially as a service provider where you're going to put in so much time and effort and energy working with someone. And then at the end of it, if it doesn't work out, you don't get paid. That's like, that's how you go out of business, right? That's how you go out of business, really.
I'll tell you that when I'm on these calls with parents, you know, and, you know, they're bright parents. They're, you know, they're for the most part, you know, I give props to them because a lot of them, most of them don't even know that their kids even scheduled a call with us or are being proactive for their career. But you're right. One of the things that I like to say about that is I always challenge students, but also parents, because you got to understand, I know you know this, Sam, but I'm going to put this out there. You know, here's a program, 3+ years, right? Of course, high success rate. I mean, why would you, do you believe it? Do you not believe it? It's on the internet, all this stuff, right? It's online. So you're going to kind of go with what you're told or led or shown, the way things are today. So I've been on calls with parents, man, where, and I'll give you one example. One of our rockstar clients, Alex, he actually takes some of these VCC calls as a rockstar client to talk about his experience. And I always enjoy his story that he mentions, where I got him on a call, this was about 8 months ago, and, you know, didn't have a lot of experience, didn't have anything on his resume, but this guy had the number one thing, determination. Well, actually, all three of those things that I mentioned. What does he do? He gets his dad on the call. His dad's total New Yorker guy, and Alex will tell his story, right? But I'm going to kind of tell it the way Alex tells it. He goes, the first thing that my dad does, because his dad was worked in Wall Street straight out of college, and, you know, loves to tell stories and all that with his kid. First thing that his dad does is he goes, all right, Alex, my kid got me on this call. It sounds like a scam. What's going on? What? Give me your pitch. What's going on? Is this a scam? And I go, dude, give it to me. I said, I don't know. We're going to find out, right? So the thing about like what I enjoy doing is this is a no nonsense, no BS program, but it starts from the VCC calls, right? From our rockstar clients that have the time, a little bit of time to hop on these calls, to me. And I don't care if you're skeptical, if you think it's a scam, whatever the thing is, the fact that you're on the call is important. That speaks volumes, right? Something's going on. My job is to hear people out. I hear parents out, and I also come right back at them. I'll challenge Wharton, NYU Stern, all of them. In regards to the money back, because you brought this up, I challenged a parent yesterday. His kid goes to a nice school. I'm like, is there a money back guarantee? Are you going to give back almost $500,000 because they didn't get your kid into investment banking? And that challenge is real. People are either going to believe it and do it, and then we're going to start building the data on that, or they're going to continue to do the non-money back guarantee, 90+% success rate, which just kicks butt, right? And that's to be determined. But at the end of the day, I'm going to challenge everybody that gets on these calls. I'm going to challenge parents that get on these calls. I expect to be challenged. And as a result, we have success.
Yeah. And I think like one point, just to riff off of that I want to mention is like, sure, you're gonna see some people online and say, oh yeah, this has got to be a scam or whatever. Couple of things. All the people that claim that our program is a scam, let's just address the elephant in the room. Like, they've never actually done the program before. Like, if you actually read what they write, like, they're not saying, oh, I'm an actual student that's gone through this program and this is a scam. It's all people that have never done the program. And guess what? You got to think about the intentions of the people that are saying stuff on the internet, anonymously, by the way. So you have no idea who they are. But if I'm someone, let's go back to this concept of having an edge, a comparative edge. If I'm someone who's not going to do this program, or who hasn't done this program, or doesn't want to pay for this program, or whatever, I'm not going to encourage everyone else to go and do this program, because why would I? I don't want you to have this competitive advantage that I don't have. In fact, I'm going to try to discourage as many people as possible from doing this program that has all these testimonials from real people. You can actually like see their faces on videos. You can listen to the 30 to 60-minute interviews on our website. By the way, if you guys haven't seen this, you go on our website. We've broken out all of our case studies and all of our testimonials into different categories. So you can find the category that's most relevant to you. You're a non-target school student, go listen to the non-target students and what they have to say. You have a lower GPA, go listen to the students who have low GPA. You're an international student, you don't have relevant finance experience, like whatever obstacle or whatever limiting beliefs you might have right now about why you can't get into investment banking, we probably helped someone just like you before, right? But my point is though, before I go on too much of a tangent, one, think about the intention of the people that are saying these things, right? Like our clients that are giving us these testimonials, they have no incentive to lie about anything. First of all, we can't force them to give us a testimony if they don't want to. And second of all, like they've already gotten their jobs with our help, and they don't care if more people join the program because you're not competing with them anymore, right? And so like they're really just giving us these testimonials out of gratitude because they're so happy that we help them get their dream jobs. So you got to think about like the motivation of people saying these things. And the second thing about the scam thing is like, there's no company out there that's trying to scam people that will offer a money back guarantee and then like sign a contract about it that says, if we don't get you the job, we'll give you your money back. Instead, they'll probably try to, give you a bunch of reasons for why they can't offer you the money back guarantee. Right. And so like, again, like we're building this business for the long haul. And the best way to do that is just like do what's best for the clients and deliver results. But also like, we're not about to put ourselves out of business by signing on the dotted line and saying, we're going to give you your money back if we don't get you a job, if we weren't 100% confident that we can deliver on that. Okay, I don't want to say 100%, but at least 90% confident, right? Like that's where we're at.
And I'm going to spin off that too, just to be really, really clear about this in regards to, and I know this because I've seen the results and I've been with the company for a year. There's a lot of clients that don't have testimonials because of anonymity and their reasons, and that's fine. We understand that and we respect that. But out of the amount that we do have, I don't know any other company that has that many. The second thing that I want to talk about is on the scam thing, and then I want to move on because I want to talk to you a little bit about this 5 offer thing that you were talking about. I have an offer for you. Is I several times, but one in particular case, I had a mom, right? She was brutal. She was an awesome mom. And the first thing she said, she gets on the call, she's like, Alex, first thing I jump online and I see scam. And I go, oh, I go, what did you hear? What did you read? What'd you read? She goes, I didn't read anything. You tell me, why is it a scam? And I'm like, well, the fact that you're on the call with me thinking it's a scam, but if you truly believe it's a scam, then you didn't believe your son, right? But you're here, so you believe something. I said, but this is what we're going to do. We're going to hop off this call because that's not my job to do your due diligence. Now, you got to understand, son, this is a mom, right? And a parent, but I'm a parent. That's the way things are. I have a belief system, and my belief system is all parents should be challenged with respect because we will accept that. We appreciate that, right? So I appreciate when parents get on the call. So I said, we're going to hop off this call. You got to go do your due diligence. You got to read these articles. You got to read as an intelligent person and as a mother. And if you feel it's a scam, I wish you the best of luck and so forth. If you feel like if you go, aha, it's not, then we'll get back on a call. We got back on a call. Long story short, her kid did enroll. She did enroll. She did try to get a discount because listen, everybody thinks that in this particular case, it was a wealthy parent. I mean, come on. That all wealthy parents, they just fork out this money because they're dumb. They're not, man. In fact, some of the wealthiest people are trying to get a discount all the time. Hey, Alex, give me a discount. I'm like, I can't give you a discount because we have kids that have paid their own way. I can't give you a discount. I know you have money and then not respect. So there's no discounts. Why I'm bringing this also because there's a discount in this Black Friday. We'll circle back to that. But my point to that was smart people always read in between the lines. Nobody's forcing anybody to get on these calls. Nobody's forcing anybody to continue on these calls. In fact, the third thing I said is, I don't need anybody to make my job harder, right? I don't need an investment banking career. I have my career. I don't need this heartache. So when they enrolled, it was mad respect. It was awesome. It was just cool to get past all of that stuff and to say, I wish your kid the best of luck. I'm looking forward to seeing him on the other side. And it was another happy parent. Okay. So I want to address that because if whatever somebody's saying that hasn't done the program, that's whatever they have to say. And all smart people can read between the lines. And you know what? This is a competitive world, but this is a competitive career. And you've got to be able to do the due diligence and you got to be able to see things for yourself. So however you're going to be influenced, great. At the end of the day, you're not going to be an undergrad for life. At the end of the day, you're not going to be in an MBA for life. All of that comes to an end. So back to that very short period of time. And this is what I wanted to say, Sam, because it's a very short period of time, because I'm about to have another I'm giving the kid the Black Friday offer. I should probably know by tomorrow. Dude, I don't really think that the 5 is going to work. I'm going to ask for 10. If I could have 10 a week, right? There's 2 weeks remaining. So if I can have a total of 20, but if we are allowed to enroll 10 Black Friday offers, find out what that discount is, guys. It's a really nice discount. If you can give me 10 a week, I think that would just be an awesome thing for everybody. Let's take advantage of the Black Friday. Is that something that we can do on this call?
So we're doubling it?
Doubling it. Well, whatever. You said 5, which I think is crazy. Yes, doubling it. Can we do the numbers? Can we do 20 from today, Monday? Well, now it's 19, but it's 10 a week.
You know what? What the heck? I'm in a generous mood, so yeah, that's fine. Let's do 20. But again, okay. It's first come, first serve, right? And we expect this to go fast. And again, we're only going to enroll you and give you this discount if we believe that you are a good fit for the program and you're the right type of person who's actually going to get results, right? Because again, we don't want to work with people who are not going to get results through our program and then waste all of our time and efforts. And then, we still have to pay our coaches and everything. Like, that's just, once we refund you, that's money out of my pockets, right? And I'm not in the money of losing business. And so, or I'm not in the business.
That's the money back guarantee
side. No, I understand. Okay. I'm just saying, right? Like, in general, as a business,
got it.
We only want to work with the right people. I don't want people to get the idea like, oh, so as long as I, pay Wall Street Mastermind a bunch of money, then like I can just like buy my way into an investment banking job. Like, that is not what this is, right? The money back guarantee, the only catch with the money back guarantee, or the only condition, is that you have to do the work that we ask you to do, right? This is not like you're not buying your way into any firm. We're not doing anything illegal here. We can't just go out and like, get the offer for you, right? We're going to teach you what to do, and you're going to have to go out to actually do the work.
Right. And I want to make sure I put this in there, because this is what I do on my calls. And anybody that's watching this live right now that I've enrolled as of today and in the past, you know who I am. You know how direct I am, personal and transparent, is that if you want to know what the cost is, I'm not here to just throw the number out, because this is not about the cost. Let me just tell you something when I tell a lot of people I'm on these calls. Well, I have a 12-year-old son, and he's learned something at age 12. He's learned it the past 3 years, that if he yells out to me, hey, Dad, there's this thing, it's $500 or whatever, it's $1,000, $1,200, whatever the number is, we're done. I don't want to hear it, because all I hear is money all day, right? He's learned, talk to me, approach me. Hey, Dad, there's this thing. They're going to help me be it's a programming thing, and they're going to do this, and it does that. And he gives me the nuts and the bolts of something, right? Before he ever drops the price on me, so that I get invested into it. And then eventually, then I'm like, well, how much is this? Because I really like this. And then when he drops the price on me, I'm already sold, because he did something that he knew how to communicate with somebody. So if you want to know what that number is, there's a process to that. And that process is, I need to know what the problems are, what your goals are, what your problems are, because right then and there, if it's not a fit, why are we talking about money and costs and Black Friday and money back? That's not going to solve people's problems. What solves people's problems is learning systems that work. That's what I say. So when you come to me or make a call with us, we're going to talk about what's going on with you and what our process is before any number is exchanged.
Well, and another thing too, like, I mean, someone actually already asked us on Instagram earlier, but I responded by text, so you didn't hear what I said. And so just for the benefit of everyone on the other platforms, like, everyone always wants to know, like, how much does it cost? Like, honestly, the work that we do with each individual is all customized. It's one-on-one coaching, right? So we don't take a one-size-fits-all approach. It means we can offer a variety of things. And like, it really comes down to like, what do you need help with? Not everyone needs help with the same things. And they're like, how much help do you need? Right. And so that's part of what we need you to tell us. And like someone asked for like a price range from like the cheapest to the most expensive. Like literally, we have stuff as cheap as like a few $100, and we have stuff up to like the low 5 figures. Right. And so it's a huge range, which I know is not helpful. And again, that's by design. I don't want to mislead you and give you a quote without knowing anything about you and without knowing what we're going to have to do with you. So that's why we need to have this conversation first. But obviously, before you make an actual decision on whether to work with us or not, we're going to have to give you a precise quote, and we will if we believe you're a good fit. And once we understand what it is that we're actually going to be doing with you, right? And then like, obviously we have to take a lot of other considerations into account, like, you know, what's your budget and what can you afford? Like, hey, like not everyone can afford to drive a Ferrari, even if they want to, right? So maybe they, you know, drive a Tesla, which is still a great car, right? And so it's just like, there are a lot of variables here, but like the bottom line is for the Black Friday sale, you're going to get 10 to 20% off whatever you would have paid otherwise. So it's the only time of the year that we ever consider doing discounts like that. And then also the other thing is like, whatever you end up paying us, I guarantee you it's a small investment relative to the ROI you're going to get on this investment. And it's pretty much an investment that has no downside, because again, if with our money back guarantee, if you don't get the job, then you just get a full refund, right? So it's like, it's you got to look at this not just from like a cost perspective, but you got to evaluate this opportunities as an investment. You know, like a lot of you who are interested in going in finance, you probably invest in a lot of things. You probably have your own stock portfolio, or some of you probably invest in cryptocurrency, whatever. Like any investment that you make is typically, you know, high risk, high reward, low risk, low reward. That's typically the rule of investing, right? Like you're very, very rarely you're going to find like, well, actually like the key to investing or being a great investor is finding those asymmetrical risk reward profiles, which only comes along every once in a while, right? Where your rewards far outweigh your risks, right? And I think this is one of those situations, because your reward is you get into one of the best jobs possible right out of school, and then your risk is nothing. You get your money back. So
you know, I'm going to spin off that too. I'm going to be happy to close this out on my end and say that, look, it's a repeatable system. I can say that with all confidence. All successes, well, majority of successes come from repeatable systems. You know, the best athletes come from coaches that have repeatable systems. They're hired because they have repeatable systems. They're not winging it every year and figuring this thing out. They're repeatable systems. In fact, the systems might even be more important than the coach at a certain point, because coaches get sick and can't attend and so forth. Somebody has to pick up, and the system is what's ingrained, right? So here's what I tell people when I'm on a call. And this is another thing, an insight. Before I tell them this, I'm looking to see if this is a person that respects systems. You just brought that up, systems. There's systems in trading. There's systems in investment. The smartest, richest people understand systems. If someone doesn't respect the enrollment process, the system that I have, that I've worked with you, Sam, and I've cultivated in my own way of communicating, it's a system of success. It's something that I've seen work. And when I see that somebody wants to bypass that system and no, I want to know the cost and that's it, and they're going to make a decision off of it, then I'm realizing that, well, what happens if they're in? So if we were totally affordable, not an elite program, $1,000, right? It's $1,000. Come on in, right? Everybody. Well, then it's affordable for everyone, right? And then are they going to respect the systems? So I have a system in place. I've learned, a lot from you, and I've brought my own system to the table. And I realize that if somebody doesn't respect that, right, they might not, again, back to how they professionally handle themselves on a call, right? They might not respect the system that you've created that has such a high success rate. That becomes a red flag. If they're just like, give me, or that doesn't work, this doesn't work, that's not, I'm gonna tell you right now, Sam, I think you know this. I've even overridden you right? Can I be transparent? You're like, no, bring him in. I'm like, well, hold on. I'm the one that had the calls with this guy. I have some red flags here. It's a hard no. And of course you're like, got it. And that was it. And the discussion, several people, but when it's a hard no, it's because I have a good eye, sort of an it factor of who would work well with your systems, the way that you coach. And look, there's websites that have talked a lot of crap about you because they don't know you or you rub them the wrong way. Dude, coaches rub people the wrong way. When you find that right match, coach, client, coach, athlete, you got magic, right? And that's one of the things that I work on doing is to make sure that when I enroll them and they cross over to the system, to the program, they're going to hit the ground running. And guess what? We've experienced this. 8 days, an offer. 12 days, an offer. In short periods of time, a lot of our clients have gotten early offers. Why? We know this. The best offers are the earliest offers. So why not work hard with the system to achieve the best earliest offers? So you got to respect the systems.
No, absolutely. I think you're on the money there. You know, we have a proven system and process. We don't have a success rate as high as ours, over 90% for no reason, right? And so if you're not going to come in and be coachable and be able to follow instructions and follow our system, then you're probably not the best fit for this program because we can't guarantee your results right now. You know, the last thing I'll say, because we're already over by about 2 minutes and I want to wrap things up here. But since you brought this up, like the best offers typically get handed out first. I think like that's a really good note to end on, which is, you know, especially if you're currently a sophomore right now, you're class of 2024, that means you need to recruit for a summer 2023 internship. That process is pretty much already here, like whether you realize it or not. RBC Capital Markets opened up their summer 2023 application back on October 5th. So it's been over a month, right? It's been almost a month and a half since that application's been open. And then like we've been waiting for kind of like the next firm to open up. Just earlier today, one of my students sent me a message saying that Catalyst, which is an elite boutique, is the best technology investment banking elite boutique out there. They've already opened up their application on, you know, at certain schools as of 5 days ago, as of November 10th, right? And then so now, like, we're going to go and tell all of our other students about this intel. It's like things are starting to happen, right? But also for those of you that are not in the program, you know, I'll just tell you this too right now. It's like things are starting to happen for summer 2023. If you're typically the elite boutiques and the bulge bracket banks, they tend to go the earliest, right? Where elite boutiques tend on average go the earliest, then it's the bulge bracket banks, then it's the middle market banks, and then it's regional boutiques. So it just means like the sooner you can get the offer, the better the offer is going to be. If you want an elite boutique or a bulge bracket offer for your junior summer internship, you probably need to, like for an elite boutique, you probably need to have something locked up by the end of your sophomore year, really. That's not like that. Not saying there are no exceptions to that, but like in general, most of those offers are going to be done by the end of your sophomore year before you go into the summer. If you want to bulge bracket bank, you have maybe a couple months longer. You have until like the end of the sophomore summer before you go into junior year. And then like going into junior year, if you're still recruiting for your junior summer internship, you're probably looking at a middle market bank, right? And then you have maybe your first semester junior year to secure one of those. And these are still very good banks or top 50, right? But it's not like the elite boutique with bulge bracket banks. And then once that's done, now you're in your second semester junior year, you're probably looking at a regional boutique bank, right? And I'm not saying you can't recruit again for full-time after your end of your junior summer internship, go into senior year, so on and so forth. But like it is more work, right? So the bottom line is like time is of the essence. If you want to get the best results, you should start as early as possible. You know, we don't charge like per day, per week, per month, or whatever. It's not like the earlier you start, you pay more. Like you're gonna pay the same amount, and it's a flat fee, and you just get better returns for the same amount you're investing, right? So I encourage you guys to, you know, jump on a call with us if this is something you're interested in. Again, not only because it's a Black Friday sale, not only because we're only giving out, you know, 10 of these spots per week, not just because of our money back guarantee, but also just because at the end of the day, starting earlier is what's going to get you the best outcome possible. And that's
really the most important thing. Like more important than anything else we've talked about today is
Right.
how do we get you the best results possible, right? So with that,
Sam, let me do this, if I may close this out, because I want to say something that I think there's a human part to this whole thing, guys. I'm on the calls, right? I'm dealing with people. I'm a human being. I'm a dad. I live here in Manhattan. I take pride in what I do and whatever I do. I'm very thankful to work with Sam. I've done a lot of programs in my life, and it's awesome to see something that works. So why I'm setting this up because of this. I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want anybody wasting my time. We have legitimately good students, good people that want to succeed. They have the best intentions. Their parents have the best intentions. They're really putting hard money on the line to get the best possible outcome. This is all real, right? We're in a new world, everybody, and I want to share this. I'm sorry, but we're in a new world. We're coming out of a crazy pandemic. The world was shut down. People lost lives. It's the real deal. We're not playing games anymore. You know, this is not we're not here to be brats or to talk to brats. We're here to talk to, and I'll spend my quality time with people that really want to know and get an edge and get the best help possible. That's my view on it. So honestly, there's a lot of good stuff out there. I know that banks really want the best candidates out there. So if this resonates to you guys, please make a call with me. I'd love to hear your situation. And if I can help you make sense of all this and make sense for your parents, and you enroll and you succeed, another happy human being. If that's not your intention, listen, let's respect everybody and not waste anybody's time, right? Very important. Peace out. Sam, thanks for having me on this call. So just to be clear, I've got 10 a week, 20 in total of Black Friday offers.
Yes, but one of them has already been handed out, so you got 19 right now.
I got 19. Okay.
Yeah. So
good.
Thanks for coming on, Alex. It was fun, guys. For those of you who do want to talk to us, you can either click the link that's in the description to these videos if you're on YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook. If you're on Instagram, I didn't drop the link there, but just go to www.wallstreetmastermind.com/apply. The street's abbreviated to ST, so it's wallstmastermind.com/apply. And just book the earliest time you can that's available on the calendar. Again, those fill up fast and it's first come, first serve. But book the earliest time you can. Talk to us. Let's get your parents involved if it makes sense to do that. And then, as a family, you guys can just gather all the information that you need, do your homework, do your due diligence, ask all the questions you want, and then make the decision that you think is going to be best for you in your future. All right. So anyway, guys, that'll be it for today. And thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll talk to you guys again soon. All right. Bye.
All right, guys.